Hello, this is Bryant Myers and welcome to another edition of Debunking Flat Earth. This was an unexpected part 2 to the last video I did on Jeran's objections to Artemis and the photo that he went through. And the reason I'm doing this part 2 is on the roundtable that Globebusters had on Sunday. Now, Jeran did say that he watched my video and he doesn't think that I was addressing his point that from one frame everything goes dark. So we're going to go into that in more detail here, and we're going to see just how wrong he is and how there's definitely possible explanations for it. And also, last night, Witsit, in his live stream, he also featured this video, so I know he knows about my video too. So they're definitely still thinking this is some kind of smoking gun that discredits Artemis, and I really want to just put this to rest in this video. And a special thanks to Walter Bislin and S. Thurston 2. One of my favorite commenters, two of my favorite commenters actually. They helped me to kind of see the light and to help to understand, because I'm not an expert in photography, but I've done a little bit of research and reading about it for this video. Now, basically Jeran, and I did email him the video just to tell him, hey, stop sharing this video. It's easy to show that what you're saying is not true. And well, he didn't like the video because I exposed, mainly because I exposed him in his exchange with Brenda, I think. And so, and I did challenge him to a debate, which is why he says, why would I even give you the chance? I'm sure he's just scared to debate me. But again, Jeran, I would love to debate you on a neutral platform, one-on-one, anytime. Please, let's do it. I mean, just put this to rest, because, you know, some people have been complaining that I'm targeting Jeran, but maybe they're not watching Jeran's videos, because he's been targeting me for about 3 or 4 weeks now. I mean, I'm not saying every video, but he's done several videos where he's always talking about me, calling me a liar, and all these things. So the responses that I'm doing are a lot in response to what Jeran's saying and about me, and the things that he's saying in response to my videos. So basically, we're definitely not on great terms right now. And I haven't insulted Jeran with any profanities or anything. I'm just calling out his stupid belief, and I'm calling out his idiotic videos and things that he shares. I'm not calling him any abusive names like he did to Brenda. But still, I pointed out to him, it's been rough for you. You know, all the dishonest stuff you're doing is coming around. And my good friend MCToon did a great video. I'm going to put a link below this video here on exposing Jeran in another way with this whole ISS sighting, which I did mention a few weeks back. But MCToon did a really great video exposing that. And Walter Bislin made a great comment, and I just have to bring it up here, that if you look at those videos that Jeran took of the ISS transit, you'll notice there's no stars in the background. And now, I've had a couple exchanges with Jeran over these images from space in both of my 4v1 debate with all 4 of those guys, and just kind of one-on-one exchanges with Jeran through email and other means. And he always says that there should be stars or something in the background, and again, he just doesn't understand photography. But it was wonderful to see that his images of the ISS transit didn't have stars in the background. So we can add this to the long list of things that Jeran has debunked himself. So again, thanks Jeran, you're one of our best flat earth debunkers. And interestingly, P-Brain is really going after Jeran lately too. Believe me, I don't agree with P-Brain. The one thing I did agree with P-Brain though is that Jeran needs to get a regular job and stop doing these videos. 100% P-Brain, I'm with you there. It is interesting that a fellow flat earth leader is attacking Jeran as well. So Jeran's not having a very good week here. Just kind of coming back up to this here, he said what you showed Brenda but didn't put the whole interview. You talk about cherry picking. So you know what, Jeran, I apologize. I should have shared the whole thing. I shared about 3 minutes. And in all fairness, after Brenda had a really great comeback, Jeran kind of agreed, and that was taken a little out of context. So I want to do a little poll here. So I'm going to share the full version so Jeran can see that I do apologize for not sharing the full thing. So that way he can't say I'm cherry picking. And I want to take a poll. I want you to honestly say whether yes, seeing the whole interview has changed my mind about Jeran, how Jeran treated Brenda and his views, or no, seeing the whole thing doesn't really change anything hardly at all. So I don't want to bias or influence that poll. I want it to be as honest as possible. So if you haven't seen my last video, do check that out, or I have like a 3-minute version. And I'm going to play for you now the 5-minute version, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. So here we go. Let's play the whole thing.
So you can see this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so if this little light here, which is the Earth, okay, if in one frame this craft completely disappears but the Earth stays there, what would that tell you?
Nothing.
Then you're a stupid idiot. How about
Why?
that? Because it's impossible. It's impossible. Watch this.
What's impossible?
It's impossible for the craft to disappear. It's not that it's in shadow, it's gone. See that? Now, we ran this through photo forensics. We ran it through my video editor. There's nothing there, period. Nothing at all.
Sure.
So
why is the Earth different?
It's the same. What do you mean? Right here? Watch. Play.
No, it's very different.
I don't know why it's different. It's faked. What the hell am I going to tell you why it's fake?
It's overexposed here, and then in the latter ones,
Gone.
It changes. Why does it change?
Hell if I know.
Do you think maybe the exposure changed? Something about the camera changed?
No, you wouldn't lose the image of the craft in one frame and it's completely
Why
gone.
Wouldn't you?
It just would
Why
never happen.
You?
Show me that. Show me. Go show me that. Go film something and show it to me in one, and I'll believe you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh well, your incredulity. Your incredulity. Just because you don't know.
It's just
because you don't know doesn't mean it's real. It's
and
fake.
just because
Boom.
you don't know doesn't mean it's fake.
What do you mean? I do know.
You don't know.
Oh, you're so dumb. It hurts.
What is it that you think you know?
That this is faked footage. I just told you that.
But what is the evidence for it being fake?
Because they're using layers, meaning they turned off the layer. This is why this went out.
You don't know that.
I do know. That's what I just told you.
No, you don't. You just have two pictures. There could be other reasons that
what do you mean
not
two
aware
pictures?
of.
What do you mean two pictures?
You have the picture before and after.
This is a video.
Yes, but you have the stills, the frames.
Sure. If you it's one frame to the next, completely goes out.
Yes.
Correct.
So those are pictures.
That's impossible.
A film is a series of pictures.
I almost think that if you were recording in your bedroom and you turned off a light switch, number one, though, even if you did that, you would still use air level analysis and it would still pick up the remnants of that.
Not in space. There's no atmosphere in space.
So what are you saying? Hold on a second. How does the sun disappear in one fucking frame, Brenda? Explain.
The sun isn't in the frame.
The sun's behind us.
About?
The sun's behind us.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's in shadow. Maybe
what's in shadow?
A little bit. Maybe the craft is in shadow.
How would it be in shadow in one frame?
From itself.
How would that happen in one frame? What came over? What caused a shadow in one fucking frame, you dumb bitch?
Another part of the craft.
How could that happen in one frame? You're not listening to yourself. If the sun is behind us and a shadow comes over this craft in one frame, how?
Yeah, the videos aren't always
now the videos,
well, they can slow it down and speed it up, and they're actually using a compositing, and it's an impersonal incredulity.
Keep going.
Right? So I don't know why this thing happened.
I do. It's faked.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
Claimed, but you don't have any evidence for it.
This is the evidence. What the fuck do you want? I can't go up to space. Dipshit. I can't go to space and double check them. Do you understand? Do you get that?
That's what we're trying to explain. You can't cite the thing you're explaining, right?
What are you talking about? How are we? So what evidence would you accept? Nothing. That's the thing. You already believe it. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Everything that's in space, you could just say, well, you don't understand. You don't get how they do it. They're actually really smart engineers and you're just some idiot.
Well, that much is true.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're true. Yeah.
I mean, Red's rhetoric destroyed you years
ago.
Cool.
That makes me, that's exciting.
So the point is that you don't know and you don't have any basis for your claim that it's faked.
What basis do you want?
Some kind of evidence.
My evidence is that you would not lose this craft. It's impossible for the sun to be moving because the sun's moving very slowly, right?
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
What do you mean?
I don't know what happened. I don't have enough information.
Okay,
I would need to
Brenda,
know more. I would need to do due diligence and find out.
Okay, dumbass. Does the sun move in space?
No, but the craft does.
Okay, so the craft is moving, okay? But it's not, is it able to readjust its location as per the sun in one frame?
No, I don't think so.
Exactly. So how in the fuck would there be a shadow that would cover this entire craft in one frame?
I don't know. That's just
it's your personal incredulity. It's your personal incredulity.
There could be another reason.
There's no reason. That's the point. The evidence is there's no fucking reason.
Yeah, but you haven't investigated it.
Oh,
you haven't
shit.
Explored all possible.
Right, you're right. I haven't waited for NASA. I haven't waited for NASA to give me their reach around so that we all believe whatever they say. You're right.
Yeah, so find out more information about the
find out
the
what
data stream.
Find out what? It's faked.
More. That's what you say.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Okay, so that kind of clued up there. So that kind of concluded Jeran saying that's what I know. And Brenda was correct. Find out more information, but Jeran wasn't willing to look into it. And in fact, he clearly doesn't understand cameras. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not an expert on cameras either, but I have consulted some people that know a lot about cameras. And when we really look into this, we can see how this is possible. So to kind of review, NASA was using the GoPro Hero Black for this mission with a lot of refinements and adjustments. So I want to bring this up too, because it's really important. All these images of the Earth and the Moon that are being shared are doing so from a limited bandwidth. So NASA is also sending very important telemetry data and other things through this bandwidth. And because they're using their Deep Space 3 telescopes network to capture this signal, it's not as easy as flat earthers think. And I don't think flat earthers remember that well, of course they don't believe in the Apollo mission, but the photos were developed after the mission. It's not like Apollo wasn't sending these high resolution images from space like we are now. But the good news is there's many higher resolution images coming in the coming week or so. So I really look forward to those. So that's gonna, the flat earth tears are gonna continue when that happens. But just to address this point, so it really all revolves around this one thing. Jeran, here's the video here, the live video. Jeran thinks that this whole thing from 758, so here we go, playing it here, 758 to 759, where it just blacks out, okay. And I've gone through this frame by frame, and interesting, for about 0.8 seconds, there were some artifacts that I was seeing that were kind of strange. But again, I got some really great feedback from both Walter Bislin and S. Thurston too. And so one of the things S. Thurston mentioned was at 108 to 110. So let me just play that here for you so you can see. So notice how it just instantly gets really bright. So this is now going the other direction where the exposure just boom, all of a sudden gets bright, then goes down again. So we can definitely see there throughout, if you watch this whole 14 to 15 minute video, you're going to see all these weird fluctuations in brightness, and this is all exposure, Jeran. You think your smoking gun is not a smoking gun, and again, stacked up against the Mount Everest of evidence that we have that this mission is real, it's laughable that you think this is some kind of proof that the whole mission was fake. But let's take a look at exposure here. So there's basically three things involved with exposure. You have the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. So the ISO is just the sensitivity to light. A low ISO is going to give you a low sensitivity, so it won't get bright so easily. And as you increase that, it increases your, the ability for the image to be much brighter. But when you increase the ISO, the image also becomes grainier and grainier. So there's better ways, if you're a photographer, to in a dimly lit situation, to capture the image, by increasing exposure time and other strategies like that is better than increasing the ISO, because increasing the ISO will make it brighter, but the image gets grainier and you kind of lose quality in your image. So the next thing is shutter speed. This is kind of the speed at which the shutter doors open and close. And we're going to see here that although it might seem that these videos are at 30 frames a second, actually they're not. And S. Thurston II, and I kind of went through it just to see what he was talking about. And sure enough, you get frozen frames. So it seems like it's more going from 4 to 8 frames per second, and sometimes even longer than that. And it does seem, because of this transmission and the bandwidth issue, that the signal is just dropping at times. So, I mean, there's just all kinds of possibilities, Jeran. I mean, for you, I don't see, what's your proof? Have you gotten an engineer that knows how these cameras are made to say that this is impossible? I mean, especially someone that knows how the mission is transmitting the signal from the antennas to the Orion spacecraft. Again, it's just so ridiculous that Globebusters and Witsit and Jeran and some others that are affiliated with him are making such a big deal out of this little sequence here. It's just laughable. Now, as Walter Bisman pointed out to me, the aperture on the GoPros is fixed. So the aperture is just kind of like the pupils in your eyes. It's how much light is being allowed in. So it seems like they're mainly adjusting the shutter speed, how quickly the frames are being taken. And again, if you have a really quick shutter speed, you can get things that are in motion, like say a hummingbird or a bird. By a quick shutter speed, you can get a nice still. Where if you decrease the shutter speed, you can kind of get more of a blurring, where if you're taking a picture of a race car, it kind of makes it look like it's in motion a little bit. So again, I'm not a camera expert, but these are just such plausible explanations. And I kind of want to go through something Walter sent me because it just makes so much sense. So Walter is saying, they probably start with the lowest ISO setting and the fastest shutter speed and slowly adjust it till they get the desired pictures. And so if they're adjusting these settings from Earth and transmitting the adjustments, it's very possible that all of a sudden things could go dark or go really bright like that. So and if the Orion part was in shadow, which obviously it was here in this sequence, then the sunlit part of the moon is to the left and the shadow would instantly go black. So it would make this instantly go black on these particular exposure settings. So here's a little image that Walter took with his iPhone. He took this in a room where only this lamp was lighting the entire room, and he turned the exposure all the way down as far as it could go. And what you see here is only the lamp is visible. And you can see even the walls here are dark. And when you go into, I put this image into Affinity, and when we go and turn the exposure all the way up, I mean, you get some artifacts here. Again, there's a little bit down here, but all up here is dark, and he's got walls and things in the background here, but none of that is coming in. I mean, you just get some of these artifacts from again, it's a JPEG image, but nothing is coming into view when we turn the exposure up. And again, Walter just did this right in his room with an iPhone, demonstrating how things can go suddenly black, showing Jeran to be wrong. In fact, anybody else could do this test themselves. So again, for Jeran to say it's impossible, the burden of proof is on him. He's the one making the claim. So if he's going to claim that it's impossible for the whole thing to go dark in one frame, he needs to show that that's the case. And he's going to have to talk to an engineer. He's going to have to understand the Artemis mission, the whole bandwidth issue, this particular footage, which frames were lost, which was transmitted, maybe there was a loss of signal. See, if Jeran doesn't have all that information, he cannot come to an accurate conclusion. So it's just a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of desperate grasping for straws because they have nothing to debunk the Artemis mission. That's why they're so frustrated. Now, S. Thurston 2 sent me this really good bit of information. So if you go to 6:05 here in the video, and I downloaded this and I saw this for myself, and you can do the same. So at 6:05, you're going to see the whole image come right into view. And if you go through this frame by frame, which I did, you can see a little glitch there. There's like a little glitch right at 6:05 over here. See, right? It's right in there. And you're going to see the pixels kind of glitched. But it stays frozen for multiple frames. And I went through this frame by frame, and sure enough, the blotchy pass persisted for 5 frames. I just put it into my video editing software, and you can get frame by frame. And what that's saying is that this is not 30 frames a second. In this particular case, it was basically 6 frames per second, right? Because it is a 30 frame per second camera, but some of these frames are getting frozen because of whatever bandwidth issues or whatever reason. And you can prove this for yourself with these little anomalies in the video and see that they are frozen for several frames. And S. Thurston 2 went through several of these through the video and was finding frame counts as low as 4, 6 like here, and up to 8 or more even. And basically he says, with his expertise, and he does seem to be much more of an expert than Jeran. I mean, just the way that he talks and the way that he describes the whole situation. If you can go through the comments of my last video and just see what he says versus what Jeran says, and you see which one makes more sense. See who is it that seems to have more knowledge of the subject. and also with Walter as well. And I just kind of want to end this here because I really followed the whole Artemis mission, and the whole splashdown event was just so exciting, kind of looking at the suspense. And you could see here at the Artemis, mission control in Houston, and also in the European module control room, because the Orion capsule itself is coming from Europe. So you have all these people with all this excitement, and everybody's working diligently. So if what Jeran and all these flat earthers saying is true, which of course is ridiculous, then all these people are just living a lie. And it really made me upset because somebody, Patrick Temponi, is one of the reasons I got into this whole flat earth debunking, because we have several hundred mutual friends, and he's been pumping out this flat earth nonsense now for over a year and a half. And he had one of his followers that had their child worked for NASA, and they were so offended at what Patrick was saying. They were basically like, so what you're saying, Patrick, is my son is living a lie? His whole life and career is a lie? He avoided that question, and it's so true. All the cheering and the excitement. Do flat earthers really think these people are just all, doing stuff that maybe, and I've heard them say this, it's like, well, they think that they're really doing something, but it's all still fake at some point. But it's all compartmentalized, therefore they really don't know what they're doing. But it's so ridiculous. How can people believe this nonsense? It's just sheer and utter nonsense. And, this is why I'm passionate about debunking flat earth, because I don't want people to waste their lives following these idiots, following a fairy tale, when life itself is so much more beautiful. Reality itself is so much more beautiful. This whole space mission to me was so exciting and so wonderful, and it's just sad that people think that all of this is fake. They're science deniers, they don't like to do math, and if we follow their lead, we'll go back into the dark ages. Really, they have no science. They have no model that can make any predictions. There's no flat earth school of applied science. So if we all followed their lead, the world of technology and innovation and science would just disappear, and we would regress back into the dark ages. This is something that people sometimes fail to get, that they don't have a model. Flat earthers can't make any kind of predictions about anything in the universe we live in, except by borrowing our heliocentric model. Everything they try to do, they're just kind of rebranding and using things that we've already shown with our successful models. So anyway, that's really all I had here. And again, please leave some comments below. And I appreciate you watching, and do like this video, subscribe. And we have many more coming. Hopefully we can just put this one to rest. All right, thanks and have a great day.